At the quarterback and offensive lines, this is one that we keep on talking about. We need that cohesion. We need that chemistry there. We need them to be on the same page 100% of the time, 110% of the time, if you can notch it up just a little bit more and get to that point. But I think this is the room that we're excited about. This is the rooms, I guess you might say, between John Mateer and this offensive line, because you're hearing a lot more optimism about the offensive line, and that's a great thing to hear. You love to hear the offensive line doing better, and of course coming out there and showing that they're physical, showing that they have put last year behind. And honestly, Oklahoma didn't lose much production in the guys that left from the offensive line or aren't returning from the offensive line a season ago. So that's some good stuff up there on the offensive line. But John Mateer, I mean, he had a few really good passing days, and you've seen a lot of different highlights. I even saw a highlight of John Mateer going out there and catching a pass from, I think, Michael Hawkins. So, I mean, the way that you've seen John Mateer and some of the things that we're hearing out of fall camp, I absolutely love it. This is all stuff that we need to hear out of John Mateer. Last fall camp, we heard that there was a lot of interceptions being thrown and that there was some big plays from the defense. This season, you're starting to hear it from both sides. And even with Derek Simmons, who was sidelined a little bit with the concussion protocol, you get Jake Taylor logging in more snaps, at right tackle. And so, I think that's something that is worth noting, and just looking at what has happened there and how much better that the offense looks right now in fall camp compared to last season. I think that's the best. So I think looking at what you've got at offensive line right now and at quarterback, knowing that at this time last season, I'm trying not to get too hyped up off of fall camp, right? So comparing to last season, you heard a lot of turnovers. You heard a lot of bad things. You heard a lot of, man, this defensive line is just mauling the offensive line. You're hearing much more back and forth battle this season, and you're not hearing as many or seeing as many interceptions. Well, usually you don't see the interceptions, but there are certain reporters, certain insiders that give us the good news of, hey, just so you guys know, there were some interceptions. It was reasoned with the defense is just so good, or don't pay too. We're trying new things, and it seemed like a lot of coach talk, right? So you're not hearing a lot of that this season. So far, liking what we're hearing. O-line's looking much better. The offensive line of the quarterback, that cohesion definitely feels like it's there in a way that it is much different than what we heard this time last season. So absolutely love it. And in terms of the quarterback room too, Michael Hawkins, he had a breakout moment the other day, a really big run where he was able to kind of snap off a big time run, kind of breaking the defender's ankles. So love to see that. Love to hear it. Knowing that he is putting in the work and growing, he's clearly the backup player. Now, obviously, Mateer, it's his starting position. But, I think with the confidence that we're seeing out of Michael Hawkins in fall camp and that we're hearing about, that we're reading about, he's getting a lot more comfortable with Arbuckle's system, which is huge because here's the perfect scenario for Oklahoma. John Mateer has a really good year and maybe not a Heisman. I know other people are talking Heisman contention. We don't even need that out of him, but he has a solid year, gets Oklahoma to that 9-10 win mark. With this tough of a schedule, I think Oklahoma fans can be content with that. 9 wins, you're talking about a playoff berth. So the perfect scenario is that that's the case. John Mateer has a really good year, ends up getting drafted, and then Michael Hawkins takes over for a year or two. So with him getting more comfortable in this system, you absolutely love to hear that coming into fall camp and going through fall camp. And so, that's something that personally I put a lot of stock into that. And I think you're hearing way more positives out of Michael Hawkins now than last season about this time. I think it wasn't necessarily that you were hearing good things about Michael Hawkins, but a lot of those good things felt like you got a little bit more because of the negative that you heard from Jackson Arnold. And, that was there. So this season, you're not hearing anything negative. You're just hearing that Michael Hawkins is progressing. And he's even viewed as a guy that's capable of stepping in without any kind of major drop-off if needed. If something happened where John Mateer was just having a horrible game and they felt like they needed to switch things up, they feel like they could go to Michael Hawkins Jr. in a heartbeat and not have a big drop-off. That's what you want to hear. Whatever reason you want to have a good backup for, because I don't think there's a good reason to want him for as a fan. You don't want to see your backups, just like what I was talking about with Whit Neubauer. You don't want to see your backups in there. You definitely don't want to see your third string in there. But if he has to make an appearance in the game, you want to feel confident that he's going to be able to go in there and perform at a high level and not burn things to the ground even worse than if the starter was in there. So love to hear the good things out of Michael Hawkins. Hopefully we keep on hearing a lot more good things as we keep on moving into closer to Michael Hawkins' era.